Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us live in San Francisco and online. I'm Tracy Ward, and I will serve as your MC today. Prologis is thrilled to host of what we hope to be the first of many thought leadership events. Our focus here is to engage with innovators across the supply chain, and with that, it's my pleasure to turn over to our co-founder and CEO, Hamid Moghadam.
Thank you, Tracy, and thank you all for joining us today. For those of you who may not be familiar with Prologis, let me give you a quick overview of our company, the logistics sector, and why we decided to hold this event here today. In the early 80s, Doug Abbey, Bob Burke, and I started the company about 300 yards from where I'm standing. Doug and Bob are here with us today somewhere. We had no funding, we were really young, but we were determined to make a difference. Reflecting on the industry 40 years ago, it was vastly different than it is today. Property ownership was fragmented. Most players were local. Hardly anyone was national, and certainly no one was global. In those days, a large logistics facility was 250,000 square feet, and it was called a warehouse. Department stores aggregated the must-have merchandise of the season, but choices were limited, and oftentimes the right product was unavailable. No one thought about how inventory moved, or frankly, what the supply chain even was. The supply chain is like your car. If it runs, you don't give it much thought. But when it breaks down, you sure know the difference. In the early 2000s, e-commerce emerged, but internet connections were slow and clunky. Early adopters got a taste for buying online and bypassing brick and mortar retail. There were flaws to the model then, but we've seen them perfected over the last 20 years. Convenience, choice, and rapid delivery are now the expectation. Then in March 2020, the world stopped. The pandemic changed everything. Not only did it accelerate the trends at work, it also exposed the fragility of the global supply chain, which was optimized for efficiency, not resilience. The old ways worked until they didn't. And those weaknesses, combined with the insatiable consumer demand, has made the supply chain headline news today. You can't turn on the TV or look at a newspaper without seeing a story about the supply chain, the congestion at the ports, or the labor shortage. Even the New York Times started a logistics beat a few days ago. As the industry evolved, so did our company. Today, we own a portfolio of logistic facilities in major centers of commerce across 19 countries and 4 continents, totaling nearly 1 billion square feet of space. Fully 2.5% of the world's GDP flows through our facilities, and we're fortunate to have the best team in the business. We measure our success by our customers' success. In serving the needs of these customers, we work with a large and talented team of partners and providers, many of whom are here with us today. We also do our best to be responsible citizens in the communities in which we operate. After building this business with unique scale and reach, and looking around the major challenges facing the industry, we saw an opportunity to bring together the top leaders in our business by hosting an important and ongoing dialogue. Today, we're having the first of these events. We want to shine light on these leaders and their latest thinking on the direction of the industry as it responds to meet the needs of the modern world. Throughout these series, we'll explore the challenges created by a system built for another era that is now struggling to meet the ever-growing demand of the consumer. The answers are not simple or easy, but the need for thought leadership is clear. The leaders we'll hear from today and in the future are in the cutting edge of this exciting world. It's a challenging time to be in the logistics and supply chain business. I'm looking forward to the dialogue and exchange of ideas that will occur at today's event. Now we'd like to share a short video with you, and thank you again for joining us.